Hi.
Hey, Emily, how are you?
Good. How are you? Oh, you can't see me. Hold on.
That's right.
There you
There we
are.
go.
Hi.
Hi. First off, before we talk about anything else, I just want to apologize for totally screwing things up yesterday. We
Oh,
were,
that's okay.
I'm usually good with scheduling, and somehow, some way, my numbers got screwed up, and I felt like a turd. So I'm apologizing.
No worries at all. I mean, I appreciate that, but you ain't no turd.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Okay.
I appreciate you taking some time to talk, and I want to talk about the album and shows and all that stuff. But before we get to all of that,
Yeah.
I know that you are a baseball fan, and early in the baseball season, you made a prediction that your Los Angeles Dodgers would be running it back, would be going back to the World Series. The playoffs begin tonight. They're in a wild card spot, which is weird considering they won 100 plus games.
I
How are
know.
we feeling playing a team like the Cardinals, who won like what 20 some of I don't know how many games in the last end of the season? The Cardinals are playing well. How do we feel as a Dodgers fan going into tonight's game?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything. I mean, I'm always going to be there with them, and I really wish we had homeboy that kind of got sexually harassed out of here or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah.
But I feel like we had a stronger with him, you know, like a stronger. I don't even know what to. I don't even know. I can't even say anything. I don't know. I'm gonna watch tonight. Obviously, I'll be there watching all the wild cards, and I don't know. God, now you got me thinking. Sorry.
I know. I'm sorry. We have oddly enough,
I
we
just
have a
hate that we were
connection.
there.
We have a
Yeah.
connection to the Dodgers here because we have a minor league baseball team called the Great Lakes Loons. So they're a Dodgers affiliate here in
Wow.
Michigan. So like Clayton
That's right.
Kershaw and Gavin Lux and Kenley Jansen and Seager all sort of started here. So the Tigers haven't been very good lately. So we at least have the Dodgers. We kind of hope that maybe, the Dodgers will win another World Series and maybe they'll bring the trophy to Midland so they can show it off here.
Oh, that'd be so cute.
It would be. It
That'd
would
be
be.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like the Dodgers are gonna be okay.
I think you're,
I feel
I hope you're right.
yeah. Yeah. I
Are you,
just they just need to go ahead.
is it just the Dodgers or is it like the Dodgers and the Lakers and the Kings? Is it all LA all the time?
Kind of, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm still trying to get on the bandwagon for football because it was more Raiders for me. If anything, but even that, but yeah, Lakers was like Kobe was like, a hero of mine growing up. Love him, loved him. Um, he will always be that dude in my world. But yeah, Lakers, Kings, yeah, you nailed it. And if it's the Rams or the Chargers, it's definitely the Rams.
I growing up, I saw Magic Johnson play for the first time. It was one of the first basketball games I ever saw. So I've been a diehard Lakers fan, even though I'm in Michigan since I was
Yeah,
a kid. So like, for Christmas every year, my parents or my grandparents would buy me Pistons Lakers tickets. And I'd be the kid wearing like Lakers Zubaz pants in the palace, getting shouted at by people. Didn't care. Going to see
yeah.
Shaq and Kobe and Powell and all that. So it's we could just talk Lakers basketball for the next 30 minutes.
Oh, that was a time. That was a time. I went and saw, and I was so happy I got to see, especially one of Kobe's last games too. There in the building. It was the second last game, I believe. It was amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I'm sure it would have been.
Yeah.
Well, we could talk basketball all day, but I know you've got a lot of
Yeah.
other stuff going on. You're back in California now. I know you had the opportunity to play a few shows the past couple of weeks. How did it feel to finally be back on stage, back out on the road, playing in front of people, not doing a virtual show, not doing the live stream stuff, like you're there with other people?
I mean, the first show was weird because it was a festival and it's a huge stage. So you're not used to the stage. Obviously, okay, we haven't been on stage for like what, a year and a half. And so after all of that, doing a whole album, you're in the mindset of being in the studio. So then now you start doing rehearsals and getting to learn all the new songs perfectly, or trying to get them like as seasoned as the old songs, so there's no dip in, the way we perform. And then when you get there and you're not doing a club, you're doing a huge stage at Summerfest, and you're like 50 yards, what it feels like, away from a crowd. It's not the first show you want back. I should just say that. And obviously we are very grateful to play Summerfest, and we obviously adjusted as we had to, but it felt like we had to make an adjustment every 30 seconds. So we had no rhythm. Fans loved it. Obviously, this is just like the mind of what I was going through, and as a band, and it was just like, whoa, like, and being out of breath, like having to catch your breath and having to talk a lot between songs. And, these are all things that I'd let the crowd know, it wasn't something I was trying to be, I wasn't shy about it. But it was really fun. And so we just had to kind of basically reevaluate where we're at, and even as the world is at, where the fans are at, and just go from there, instead of what we know and a seasoned band that that we've been together for so long and playing so many shows and tours. We had to reevaluate, and that helped a lot. So going into that, so the first show to the last show, our last show technically is this weekend, but on the road, it was night and day. Like we figured it out. We were able to just get it to a place where we could just be up there all night. I had the stamina again, and able to find that distance between the fans and myself, and but still feel like it's intimate. It was great. Really, I
was going to ask, what sort of preparations do you do for your first shows back in nearly 2 years? Do you start doing some cardio? I saw that you started doing some Pilates like a year, for a year leading up to it, but even that didn't help you prepare for like the big stage and getting back out of the road. What sort of things do you do to get ready? And did any of it matter?
I would like to say yes, because I feel like I don't want all that to be wasted.
Yeah, right.
I feel like it did more than I give it credit for. It really feels like it was nothing, but then being able to recover quickly that was the key, so the first show, yes, I was doing Pilates for a year, and I was like, what? It doesn't even matter. Like, I was just like, this is insane. Obviously cardio, doing hikes and stuff like that helps a lot. But I believe bouncing back from it. So it's almost like you're looking at yourself as like an athlete, like you're not going to run a marathon if you're training to do a marathon, right? That's the whole thing. So it feels like we've been training, and then we'd run a marathon, and then it's just like, holy shh, but then you recover quickly, and then you're able to adjust and bounce because you have put in the work. And I feel like that goes with everything that you do.
And I think, you talk about like, these are your first shows back, but for a lot of your fans, this is also their first shows back, because they also haven't seen a show in like a year and a half, 2 years. So I imagine their energy, they're all pent up, they're ready to go too. And they're not doing the Pilates. They're not doing so they may be like miserable the next day after a show.
Right. They could have lost their voice and all that kind of stuff, all that good stuff that comes with going to a rock show and hangovers and stuff. But, I feel it. I understand that. I do talk to a lot of people, especially in the crowd and stuff. And they're like, is this your first show back? And blah, blah, blah. Like, it's very interesting to me, to see. And I think it's just more about what I write, because you can't really sit down and talk to a lot of people. And like, my first show back or my second show back didn't disappoint. Oh my God. So I read a lot of that, and it's fun, and it's something new and exciting, something that's been old and drab for a while.
Yeah. And I follow you guys on Twitter and seeing sort of the interaction with fans talking about, whether they saw you for the first time on one of those festivals and now they're all in on Dead Sara, or they came to one of those headline gigs and they're like, this was such a great first show back. You guys, I'm so happy that this was my first show back. That's got to be a great feeling.
Yes, exactly. Because, they've been waiting a while, and,
right.
There's an anxiety that comes with it too, so we hear you, we feel you, and we try to just do the best we possibly can to make it worth it.
I got to imagine that, playing these shows was great, no matter what songs you're playing, but being able to go out and play new music at these first shows back has got to be even more exciting for you, because you've been working, you've been holed up in the in the rehearsal space for so long and, crafting these songs, perfecting these songs. And now you get to go out, play these handful of shows, not only play the Weathermen and the classics, but also here are these new songs that we've created in who knows how long. It's been a while since we put on new music. That for you guys had to be awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, and it felt different this time. And the reason I say that is we've done albums, obviously, and then gone on tour, but we've only played a handful of the new songs. Like we'll sprinkle it in a set. This time we were just like, we should learn the whole song, like the whole album beginning to end. We should just know it. And we pretty much played the whole album throughout this, throughout the whole tour, and a bunch of other old ones. So our set list went up exponentially than we usually do. And we were able to just keep that stamina. We were able to keep it and make it feel like it's been just as seasoned as like Lemon Scent or Mona Lisa and stuff. And that was so great. The juxtaposition of the old stuff and the new stuff, really, we made it balanced in a way. And I feel like that has to go with putting in all the work with each song too, in the studio, where there is no doubt. There's no feeling of like, oh, we should have done this differently. We should have done that. It just was like, it rolled off. And that was something that was an accomplishment for us in a way where we've tried many times in the past, where, we get in the studio, you use a song, you put layers and you have fun with it and you change it completely. And you're not really playing it live anymore. You're kind of just getting caught up in the whole recording aspect of it, and which is really fun to do. But then at the end of the day, when you want to play it live, you're like, oh, I don't know if I love playing this live, or does it feel right? Or all of our guitars are in completely different tunings, so we can't do it live. It's because it just slows down. Like there's so much to it. But this album, we literally played the whole song. Like there's only one song that we're like, we have to get this right before we play it live. And that was it. It was amazing. So yeah, it was so fun to play. It's fun to play.
We've talked a lot about already the new album, Ain't It Tragic, has been out for a few weeks now. It's your first new full-length album in 6 years. And of course, you're stuck recording it in a pandemic, which I can't imagine was all that fun for you guys. You're finally like, all right, we're going to finally put out a new full-length album. We're going to get a collection of 11 songs because we've done 11 songs every other time. We're going to do this. And then pandemic. And that's got to suck.
Well, it did suck at the time. Like we were just like, oh, fuck, like what now? Right. I mean, for everybody's life, like whoever was in the middle of anything in their life is like, what? Okay. Like, everything got turned upside down. We were going to go in the studio with Noah, who did our first 2 albums. But we only had like a handful of songs that were pretty much ready to be recorded. And, he has a family and stuff. So he was just like, I can't, I'll do it from afar. Long story short, Warner was like, well, whatever you guys are doing right now, because we were still recording like in our respected homes. They're like, this actually sounds really good. So go do your thing. Like whatever you guys need, like we'll just send you whatever it is. So having that like motivation was and an acceptance of just like, this is the way it's going to be, let's capitalize on it, was so freeing in a world where it felt just like imploding and stops everywhere. So having that freedom in a world so grim was inspiring. And we were able to go to our rehearsal spot, set up a studio, and record and figure it out. It's not like we had time to do anything else. So, we had Noah on the line. We had him as like he kind of acted like as an executive producer at this point, and we just had to do it. And so by the end of it, I mean, Sean was just producing the album. We were such in a rhythm that we couldn't ever have done if it wasn't for the pandemic.
Did you feel, I mean, with the gap between the full length albums, and you had the EPs in there too, did you feel like this was an opportunity to sort of maybe not reinvent, but reinvigorate the band because you have been away for an extended period of time? And not only that, but now you're doing things a little bit differently than you had ever done before. Now you have this new sort of fresh, we're doing this differently than we have. Now we have the chance to do it in a way we've never done it before. Does that give you like a different sort of energy?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, we've always talked about doing an album like this, where we just had nothing else to do. Like we were teenagers, like we were like in our early 20s where it was like nothing really mattered, we didn't have dogs. We didn't really like have significant others. And, we didn't have rent, that was as dire as it is now. So we didn't have those kind of things that were so integral in our life. And it just felt like that, but the same thing was happening now. Like it was like a second chance to like go in and do that album that you've always wanted to do with no other ties connected. And that was very, very exciting. And just to record and write and finish writing all the album too, because we weren't even finished writing. To write in a way where we just wanted to listen to, like, let's not make it sound like the first album or the second album. We can do that in our sleep, like that's very easy for us. What do we want to listen to? What are we listening to currently? What is something that we love to just put on and listen to? Let's just write that, let's not put anything where it's like, oh, that doesn't sound Dead Sara enough. Like, fuck that. It's because we're writing it. Right. There's so many songs throughout our, 10 plus years of being a band that we put to the side because we thought it's not Dead Sara enough. So what you're hearing on this album are the songs that we didn't put aside and said it's not Dead Sara enough. It was just like we kind of looked at him and like, what were we thinking? It was like somebody else's idea of what it was, not ours. So that was the wall that we broke, which was really cool. And just owning it 100%. Very, 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 yeah.
Yeah. I was going to ask, with the period between the full lengths, a lot of the songs on Ain't It Tragic you guys had started those had already begun years ago. And are those some of those songs that you talked about that, we didn't feel these were Dead Sara enough. And now you have the chance to go, you know what, they can be Dead Sara enough if let's just work on them. Let's just take this demo we started 5 years ago and let's do it. Did you have, are a lot of the songs on the new album, were those songs that have been kind of festering for a while, I guess?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even Heroes too. This is a lot of those songs at the time where we were doing that EP, which was supposed to be an album, Temporary Things. It was supposed to be a full length, but our management at the time decided, no, let's just not do that. And we're like, okay, made no sense. But anyway, we went along with it. There's a bunch of songs at that time, like Lover Stay Wild, like Heroes, like Hypnotic. I mean, all these kind of songs that we were able to look at. And even Warner was like, there's something about these ones, like keep these ones, like just go finish these, And we're like, absolutely, let's do that. Like we agreed with it. And so that definitely helped us have like a step in where the album is going to start, And we had no idea that it was going to take a turn into like, all these other songs, like, I mean, I guess it took a turn into Sean producing it, which is something that I would wanted too. Even on that EP, I was just like, could Sean do it? I was looked at like I was crazy. And so that was another really cool thing that had happened that probably wouldn't have been able to happen if it wasn't for the pandemic. So this is like as Dead Sara as it gets, it's like we had the creative control, throughout.
When you have these songs that have been written previously or it started on previously, and now you're writing new songs as well, is it difficult to decide when you're coming up with the songs that'll make up Ain't That Tragic? Is it difficult to decide, yes, this new one goes on, yes, this older one that we were working on goes on that we've had around for 5 years? Is it tough to kind of decide what ends up making the album when you have new songs and also songs that have been around for 5 years?
This time, no. I think it's because of those few songs that started it. at that point, you can kind of guess when you're writing a new song if it's going to go with it without even talking. It's almost like you just the knowingness within the band, like that one doesn't deserve to be there, or this one, or like Gimme Gimme, like that was one that was sitting around, and I was just like, the album needs this one. We need to finish this one. Like we just know. So it almost becomes easier when you have a handful of songs, getting to kind of feel where the album's going to be, you know? So it was actually quite easy.
I'll be honest. I've listened to Ain't It Tragic a bunch since it came out, because I'm a dude that grew up in the 90s, and my musical tastes were formed in the 90s. And this album just has that vibe for me, has that feel. Even the videos, I mean, are total feel like 90s videos. Do you think that the vibe of the album is a testament to you guys being able to sort of do everything your own way this time?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we love the 90s too. So we're letting that just pour all over it.
What's the biggest thing that you guys learned as a band when you took on the recording process into sort of your own hands and decided, you know, here's what we have, things are going well right now, they're going to let us do it on our own? What have you, in the process of all of this, what have you learned maybe about yourself, about the band, that maybe you didn't know before?
That we could do, that we're a lot more capable than we give ourselves credit for. And I really saw that this time. We all stepped up, like to places that like I didn't see possible, and with ease, you know, and obviously a lot of hard work, but it was something, the most growth I've ever seen out of this band. And so it's like having to, you know, like what's next now? Like, what's the challenge next? Like that's crazy to me, but we could deal with it.
Yeah. I mean, you've sort of gone through the gauntlet to get this album out there. So anything after this is, I mean, you guys know you can handle it, which has got to be, I mean, it's got to feel good to know that hopefully have gone through the worst.
Absolutely. It's a lot of confidence.
It feels like whether it's Heroes or Uninspired on the new album, it's got some pretty dark messages, you know, all my heroes are dead, or I'm not inspired by the way the world looks anymore, stuff like that. The messaging is dark, it feels dark, but the album as a whole feels bright and upbeat and sort of, I mean, when you listen to it, like I listen to it a bunch, I feel good. It makes me feel good. It's an interesting dichotomy that you've sort of created with, you know, there's sort of a depression there, but also the music feels happy. It's interesting to me.
Yeah. I mean, we're not an emo band, so we could easily go down that route, you know. I feel like just in songwriting in general, in my whole life, I've always done that, you know, happy chords, sad lyrics. I love that so much. I feel like it just sticks more, you know, there's more to, I don't know what it is. I feel like you know what you're getting into if you listen to emo music. It's all kind of there. I just love the mixture of it all. I don't know. It's not even something that I like really, really intend to do, you know? Yes, I'm going to say things that are very drab, or if I'm going to say things that are like, whoa, that's a bit deep, but I'll say in a happier note, because obviously there's light at the end of the tunnel. And that's how I like to look at life, you know, as hard as it is. I believe that it does always get better, you know, and I mentioned the music videos for Heroes Hypnotic are out. And I just want to thank you for bringing back the fisheye lens, which I think has been missing from music videos for a long time. I don't know how. They're amazing.
It's great. Yeah. I having watched the Heroes video, and it's so much fun. And then seeing that reminds me of, I mean, obviously Mo Money, Mo Problems is from, you know, Biggie Smalls and P. Diddy, and Mace is one of those ones that had the fisheye, but there's the shot in Hypnotic where it looks like a Beastie Boys video. It looks like So What You Want, which I immediately saw. And that's the first thing I was like, oh man, fisheye lens, all three of them there on the corner. This is
Adidas. Yeah. I
appreciate that somebody, and there may be other bands doing the fisheye, but I want it to become more of a thing. And the videos, I mean, whether it is Hypnotic or Heroes, they're both a lot of fun, and it looks like you guys are having fun. And there are videos that aren't that way, and it's awesome to see that, to just see you guys just show off your personalities, which sometimes you don't get from. There are a lot of people that are guarded in that sense, but in these videos, you sort of get this vibe of this is what Dead Sarah is. It's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, yeah, Hypnotic was supposed to be a alter ego, and that's what we wanted. Even the song when we wrote it, we're like, this is an alter ego. Like, see what I mean? Like when I say like it's hard for us to be like, this is a Dead Sarah song. Like we have to say it's an alter ego. We're still trying to say that anything what we do is Dead Sarah, but it's an alter ego, Dead Sarah.
Yeah, right. So the album Ain't It Tragic's out now. You've got a couple of shows coming up, homecoming shows later this week in Los Angeles. The first one is you're doing 2 shows in one night, which is, I mean, crazy. But you've sold out the first one. You guys have got to be pretty pumped to play, those hometown shows for the first time in a long time. And to be able to be a band that can play 2 shows in one night is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Still haven't ever done it, which is cool. Like I'm up for the challenge. Like we're really putting ourselves out there in challenges. I'll tell you that.
So once those shows wrap up, you've got some time off. I know you're doing Shiprocked and things like that. I usually ask this towards the end, but what is the plan moving forward? I assume that Dead Sarah is going to be out on the road for like a year, 2 years. You guys are just going to be touring, this album as long as you can.
Exactly. That's pretty much it that I know of. Yeah. And, sprinkled within time, because I feel like we got some time off between now and Shiprocked, with a couple shows here and there, but why not keep recording? Yeah. Keep it going. So you don't have to wait 6 fucking years for another LP. Excuse my language.
No, good.
I'm going to keep it going.
Well, I mean, like I said, I love the album. I've listened to it a bunch. I'm super excited to see you out on the road, seeing the live videos and seeing some of the stuff people have posted from the shows, seeing the energy of Dead Sarah out on the road. It's exciting that you guys are back out playing shows. And I can't wait for you guys to get back to Michigan, play a show here. And I'll be rooting for the Dodgers tonight. I hope that they. Oh.
I'm so mad that it's even at this point. Like it should have just been.
I mean, the Yankees lost last night. That's a good thing, right?
Yeah. I would love to have seen the Yankees and Dodgers, like I said in that thing. Yeah. But I mean, that's just like what everybody wants.
I think, when you have 2 major markets playing in the, instead it'll be the Dodgers and the Rays, and nobody, Tampa Bay doesn't care about the Rays. and nobody will watch.
Yeah,
Dodgers fans watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time. I apologize again for screwing up yesterday. This has been super cool.
Oh my God.
I'm looking forward to seeing you guys out on the road here very soon.
Thank you so much, Matthew.
For sure. We'll talk soon. See ya.
Okay. Bye. Bye.